Hi everyone, it's Dr. Yael Hallis, board certified facial plastic surgeon. And today on the couch I have the renowned Shimon Eckhouse, who is an absolute legend in the field. I'm so honored, I'm almost without words sitting next to him. This is the man who created IPL, who has created so many of the important companies, has several fantastic projects. One technology I'm particularly in love with is SoftWave. And no one can explain the technology better than Shimon himself. In the office, for instance, with a lot of my deep necks, I use Profound. And the technology that we have from Profound and SoftWave are actually kind of united. Tell us a little bit about SoftWave and Profound and the history.
Sure. So actually Profound is a company that we brought to market, if I remember right, in 2012 in the US. And it was the first time ever that what is now called RF microneedling was used on patients. And the basic idea was that you insert needles into the dermis, into the skin, and then you flow RF current through those needles. The RF current heats up the skin, and when the skin is heated up, in the healing process, it generates collagen and elastin. And this is something that we did establish in quite a few clinical studies with Profound. The only limitation is that when you use it, you need to really prick the skin many times. Like a typical facial treatment, facial and neck treatment may take 5 to 10,000 pricks of the skin. The downtime can be quite significant. There are some side effects, but it can be an effective way of generating new collagen, new elastin, and tightening the skin. When I co-founded SoftWave, which was, if I remember right, 7 or 8 years ago, I said, let's see if we can do a similar thing to what we did at Profound, but do it without injuring the skin, without using needles, without having downtime, with reduced pain, and even more importantly, with really zero side effects to the patient that is being treated. What we knew from Profound is that, and this is something that we have done in a few clinical studies, we found that the optimal temperature to generate new collagen and elastin in the dermis is in the range of 60 to 70 degrees centigrade. If you heat it up to more than 70, you are going to completely denature collagen and really take away the ability of collagen to induce generation of new collagen and elastin. If you go lower than 60, you do get some effect, but you need many treatments to get the real impact of generating new collagen and new elastin. So we knew exactly where we want to be. And what we developed, and actually brought to market is to use ultrasound beams at a frequency that is absorbed in the dermis. We use frequencies in the range of 11 to 12 megahertz. The way we develop the transducers that generate the ultrasound energy is such that they generate a beam of ultrasound. It's not converging and not diverging, and most of the energy is absorbed in the dermis at depths between 1.5 to 2 millimeters. The same transducers that generate the ultrasound energy are also cooled to a temperature of about minus 10 degrees centigrade. When we couple these transducers to the skin, we generate the energy that heats up the dermis, but at the same time we cool the upper surface of the skin and we protect the epidermis. So the end result is that we create an injury to some extent very similar to what we have done at Profound, but we do it without pricking, without really creating any mechanical damage to the skin. And we use the know-how, what we learned over the years on Profound, of generating it at the right temperature and the right volume. In addition to that, what we do with SoftWave is to use an array of 7 ultrasound transducers operating simultaneously. Each of them generates quite a large volume of heated skin. And the end result of that is that you have a very effective way of inducing generation of new collagen and new elastin because you excite a large volume of the skin. One more important point that we believe is very significant is we focus on the dermis. And I call the dermis the 24/7 collagen factory of the body, because the dermis needs to keep on generating new collagen and new elastin on a continuous basis, because it's the outer part of our body that keeps on being damaged mechanically by UV and by other impacts. And so it is really like the optimal way of healing itself. This is the reason we focus on the dermis. If we go a little bit deeper into, I would call it, the biotechnology of what we do, we use the fact that the dermis is the richest tissue in our body in terms of the ability to generate new collagen and new elastin by what is called fibroblasts. And fibroblasts are in all of our body, but the dermis is the richest tissue and fibroblast in the body. So you actually use the best factory that can generate new collagen and new elastin.
And also, many of my surgical friends, many patients outside, really wonder about how to use the technology in the best possible way, but not getting an adverse aesthetic side effect. Of course, you just explained SoftWave is extremely safe because it's balancing the delivery of heat, but protecting the surface of the skin, that's the epidermis. But one of the things that past devices perhaps caused, or perhaps we do want in some parts on the body, is fat loss. So by focusing on the dermis, we're preventing the side effect we don't want. We don't want to have fat loss in the face. And as you said, the dermis is that target point that's going to give us that maximal contraction that we can use all over. So SoftWave has clearly is used for face and to help to elevate the brow, help to elevate the neck. But there are many other applications where SoftWave could be used. I'm a facial plastic surgeon. Tell me some of the other places.
And really what we are able to do with SoftWave, and we have done quite a substantial number of FDA studies to prove it and to get FDA clearances. We are able to do very effectively lifting of the eyebrows, lifting of the neck. We are able to really emphasize the chin, which is a big issue both with female and with male patients. And on top of that, these are studies we have done over the last year and a half after we launched our product. We have now FDA clearance for treatment of cellulite, which is of course on the body. And what we do actually in cellulite is by tightening the skin, the appearance of cellulite improves significantly. And the most recent study that we have done and got FDA indication and clearance for is treatment of the arms, where we can treat sagging skin on the arms. And I can tell you it's really the right time of the year in the spring when we start using short sleeves. Both, by the way, even men, but mostly women, they hate sagging skin on their arms, and they are kind of shy when they need to go out to the beach to show this sagging skin. And we have shown in a very significant clinical study that we are able to tighten the skin and make the arms look much, much better, because at the end of the day is generation of new collagen and new elastin and regeneration of the skin.
I know the answer to, and I think everybody would really like to hear the story. You created Intense Pulse Light. I mean, the photofacial IPL. This sort of is one of the major foundations of aesthetic fields and of practices everywhere. What made you think of this?
The real story was that I was completely out of the medical field in those days. I was dealing with all kinds of technologies, all the way from well logging to sterilization. And one day I read a paper about the use of pulse dye lasers for treatment of port wine stains. And I had lots of experience using flash lamps for a wide range of applications. And when I read the details of how it is done, I said to myself, I could do the same thing even more effectively by using a broad spectrum light source, like a flash lamp, which is pulsed. And this is the way I invented IPL. This is what I started Luminous with. And it became, and you're right, I mean, IPL, people don't always know it, but there are more IPL devices in the world than any other kind of energy-based device. There are probably around 30 million IPL devices used at home to do hair removal. So all of this came out of this invention of IPL. And the idea was, here is something that people do using a very complicated laser called pulse dye laser, and you're very familiar with them. We could do it in a simpler way and even in a more effective way. This is the way IPL was invented. We have done similar stuff when we founded Cineron, where we said we could use a combination of RF and light to treat the skin. And now we do it, of course, at Softwave with what I just told you in much more detail.
So a lot of scientific discoveries still coming. And I don't know if you can reveal it yet, but what's your favorite?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, it's like asking who of your children you love more. I love them all. They're all my favorites, whether they are the ones I'm doing today and whether they go back to where I started 30 plus years ago.
The living legend who has contributed so much to our field. So thank you so much, Shimon. It's always a pleasure.
Seeing you.
Thank you so much.
Great being here in your great clinic.